Okay, hi guys. For my creative project, I decided to do the costume renderings, but instead of doing one character, I decided to do three. Um, I chose to do three of the ladies in the play Intimate Apparel. I chose Esther, Mamie, and Mrs. Van Buren. Um, I'll start with Esther because her costume was the easiest, I think, for me. Um, she's the middle one. I don't know, my skills of the camera aren't very good. But I chose to do a long brown skirt because the brown material was much cheaper back in 1905 than any other material. And I gave her a long skirt with the traditional white long sleeve shirt that would be worn. I gave her a tape measure because I know that that is something that would be really necessary for her in her workplace because of being a seamstress. She was always measuring material and sewing material and putting it together to make the intimate apparel that the women in the play wore. Um, I'll move on to Mrs. Van Buren because Esther was kind of really simple. There wasn't much other than the simple cheap fabric that was used to make her costume. Mrs. Van Buren was probably the easiest one. She's this costume right here. I chose to do a long evening gown because the women in 1905 wore many different dresses throughout the day. They had a dress that they would wear in the morning with their friends, and then they'd come home and change. For lunch, they'd wear a different dress. And then they would change again for their tea time when they would get together with friends and have people over. And then they would have an evening gown that they would wear out and about with their husbands. Um, I gave her this long dress, and the darker color is supposed to kind of represent like a sequin kind of thing to show that she did have money. I chose to do black because black is a very elegant color and it's very slim to show her slim waist from the corset that needed to be worn underneath. I gave her this big jewelry up here, a very broad necklace that kind of made a statement along with the matching earrings to show that she could afford something like that. And then finally, I chose to do Mamie. Well, I thought her costume was going to be the easiest to put together. Kind of wasn't. It was actually the hardest. Even though she's a prostitute, it was kind of difficult to decide, like, what kind of materials that I would want her costume to be made of and what colors to use and things like that. So, this is what I came up with for Mamie, this one right here. I chose to do something really short and would kind of show off her body a little more with this slim waist up here. When I was doing my research on the clothing that was worn, a corset was always worn, especially with the lingerie underneath. So I put lace up here to kind of show off her breast area a little more because of her workplace. And then I put lace down here at the bottom of the skirt to make it a little bit longer, but nothing too modest, I guess you would say. I also gave her these stockings. I put lace at the top of the stockings because I didn't connect them to her dress. I thought that that gave it a little more of a intimate kind of thing. So what my main purpose of these costumes was to show the personality of each woman because they're all three separate. Mamie's very full of life. That's why I used the bright colors. Esther seems kind of dull until she kind of breaks out into her shell and has more confidence to be herself. That's why I used the browns and the red and the white. And then Mrs. Van Buren obviously was part of a richer community, and I gave her the black, elegant, long evening dress. And here's the pictures one last time with Mrs. Van Buren over here, Esther in the middle, and Mamie on the outside. Hope you liked it.